We're here at the 2020 Pasadena Showcase House of Design and have invited several of our favorite experts to share their tips and tricks on a variety of topics, everything from food and wine to wellness and entertaining. We hope these segments will inform, entertain, and inspire you to try something new. As we like to say, do try this at home.
Today we're in session with Ines Garstecki of Flowermaid. Flowers are such a great way to add life to a space, and it's a beautiful way to treat yourself to something extra special. And today, Ines is actually showing us how to make these beautiful flower arrangements from home with flowers you can buy at your local grocery store. Let's go join Ines.
Hello, my name is Ines Garstecki from Flowermaid. I'm going to show you today how to make a pretty flower arrangement in your own home with flowers that you can find in your local grocery store. So I picked up a bunch of flowers yesterday. I found some gorgeous burgundy spray roses, burgundy dahlias, and then these kind of jewel tone flowers to accent it all. So we have a pretty palette that kind of comes out of summer and goes into fall. And as the container, I picked a cylinder, and I figured most of us have some kind of cylinder at home. This could be a solid kind of ceramic cylinder, it could be a glass colored cylinder, it could be slightly concave edges. And we're gonna start with a leaf inside the vase just to cover the stems. You could leave it clear too, but it's a little neater if we cover the stems that are in the vase. And I have this tea leaf for it. Any kind of larger tropical leaf works if you have a bird of paradise bush in your garden, or any kind of flat, bigger leaf would work. There's a grate in the back that I have to cut out just to bend the leaf. So I have a little knife, which could be any kitchen knife. And I'm just gonna cut this out and wrap the leaf in the vase. And then as a next step, we have this big opening. So I'm using tape. I have a 1/2 inch tape, but you can use any kind of Scotch tape for it to create a grid on top of the vase, which will help us to keep flowers in place. And I'm just gonna go a few rows up and down, maybe 3 in each direction. And by the way, I have my vase on this Lazy Susan, which just makes arranging easier because you can turn it and move it around and see every angle of your arrangement. So let's do this grid, and then I go once around just to keep the tape in place. And there we go. So there is the tape grid. And now we need water in the vase. So I usually fill it up pretty much 3/4 of the vase just to make sure that every stem in the end will be in water. And most flowers from the supermarket come with these little flower food packages. And I use them. I think they do help to keep the flowers fresh and keep bacteria out, and just there's sugar in it too, which helps flowers to blossom better. And then we start with greenery. Let's use some lemon leaves first. With greenery, you kind of create a grid that determines the shape of your arrangement. It's nice to have a nice cushion, and also the stems going in will create more of a grid inside the vase. And once I get to my flowers, it will hold them in place. So at the supermarket, I found these, they're called pit, pretty much available in any supermarket. And I like to use different kinds of greenery, which creates more texture in the vase. You absolutely can just one type of greenery, but using 3 or 4 different kinds just makes the arrangement more interesting. And so this arrangement I'm gonna do more on the natural side too. So with the greenery, as you can already see, I'm also not gonna stay completely round. Most people have rectangular tables, so this could be kind of more like an oblong shape to place on a table or use as a centerpiece in the end. So I'm just layering more lemon leaves and pit in here. Pretty geranium from my garden that I picked this morning. This is called Blue Perum, which I was surprised to actually find it in the store. Again, like this is nice and dainty to add kind of like a playful movement to the arrangement. So I'm gonna continue with this a little more. And also what I'm doing before I stick every stem in the vase, I take off the leaves at the bottom. I don't want to have any leaves in the water because they create bacteria and our arrangement will wilt quicker. So now let's start with flowers. I usually do bigger flowers first and kind of find placement for my big flowers and then fill in spaces with the smaller flowers. So I have these gorgeous purple hydrangeas. With these ones I cheated. They came from the flower market. But for example, I found these gorgeous kind of antique green hydrangea at the supermarket, which completely would work with this color scheme too. Flowers I cut on an angle. Some people use scissors or kind of garden clippers, which is absolutely possible too. I kind of prefer knives. So once you do this more often, you'll find your preferred tool as well. And I think 2 is fine. So now let's go with some roses. And people always ask me, like, how do you know the lengths? Like, I just do it automatically. But if you're not sure which lengths to cut them, you can just, let's take a fresh stem and kind of hold them where you think the flower head should sit. So let's show this in the front. So if I want it here and I know I should cut it about here, and then I can place it, and so this is a little too far out, you can just recut it. So rather cut it twice than too short. And then mine that I already had. So I prepared these roses beforehand, because usually there's leaves all the way to the bottom and thorns. And there are these things called rose strippers to take leaves and thorns off like this. But you can do this with the knife too. Absolutely no problem at all. Just takes a little longer. So as far as pairs or how to kind of place the flowers, that's completely your own creativity. There's no rule of thumb of if like pairs have to go together or trios of flowers have to go together. With this kind of looser style, important is that you let the flowers breathe, that we can see every single flower, and there's space in between, that they're not all like clumped together. All right, next I'm going to use these dahlias. So I already have kind of enough of a grid in here to hold these flowers in place. Some I have to adjust, but it works pretty good. And with roses, just to get more depth in your arrangement, it's nice to do in and out. So kind of higher and lower, instead of doing them all at the same size. So I'm going to use my smallest flower, these spray roses, kind of to just fill in the holes. I need to take these leaves off too. Again, to just, you know, stay playful and add movement to the vase. This one also I picked up from the market. It's called pokeweed, and I'm just going to add in a few of them. There's a lot of cool material that you can even find in nature on a neighborhood walk. So just feel free to look in nature and see what you can find that would add more interest in the vase that you create. Since we're going into fall, another little addition I wanted to show you. I have these dried ferns here, and I cut off the bigger pieces from the bottom. It's a big trend right now to use dyed and dried material. So we can add another component to this arrangement with these burgundy fern leaves. And again, I'm going oblong, and I'll put two, let's say two on this side, and then just one on the other side, and voila, we have nice added texture right away. And as the last step, you can just adjust and kind of tweak it a little bit and pull out some things and pleasing to the eye. Since we're going into fall, I picked up these little mini pumpkins too. So if you would like to do this as a Thanksgiving arrangement, you could add just a few of these just for fun and to just make them more Thanksgiving-y, let's say. So even just 3 stems and voila, you can use this for your Thanksgiving table. So this is a pretty inexpensive, gorgeous arrangement that you can do at home with these elements from the supermarket. From a flower store, this probably would cost around 120, 150 even, possibly. And now you can do it yourself. So try it out, have fun. And if you would like to find out more tips and tricks from me, you can find me online at flowermaid.com or on Instagram at flowermaidla.